Over 250 fixes are in testing. A lot of patch notes here, you guys. But the real question is, will it save the game? Bubba? Okay, then.
Campfacer.
What's going on, campers? Campfacer here. Welcome back to another Texas Chainsaw Massacre the Game video. Today, Gun dropped a huge list of patch notes that they're working on. 250 to be exact, but we only have 15 key ones to talk about here. As I'm recording this video, I get a notification on Twitter from Gun Interactive that tomorrow, Thursday, November 9th, Matt Shotcha from Gun and Wes Keltner from Gun are going to be live over on twitch.tv/Gun Interactive, and they're going to do a live questions and answers on the game. There's probably going to be a lot of information over there. Don't miss it. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, November 9th. So I'll put a link to that Twitch channel down in the description below. So anyways, let's move on to the video. Starting off with Grandpa cutscene missing. Grandpa Awakened cutscene has been replaced with a simple banner notification. Now, you guys, a lot of people out there, a lot of complaints about the cutscene. I get it. We're playing either your victim or your family member, and bam, big cutscene comes, takes up the whole screen. It's very loud. We've seen it over and over and over. Once a match, every time the match starts up, usually within like the first few seconds. The biggest problem in my book was if you were Leatherface revving your saw over your head, the cutscene came on, and when the cutscene was over, your chainsaw stalled out, and that was super annoying, especially if you're chasing after a victim. Then you have to let the cooldown go down, restart up the chainsaw, and then proceed. That was my only complaint. I really didn't care. I didn't mind the cutscene. I enjoyed it. Gun, if you're watching, whoever designed the cutscene, good job. I loved it. It was great. I didn't mind it. I wish it stayed I just wish they fixed the chainsaw from overheating during that cutscene. That was my only gripe about it. Other than that, whatever, it is what it is. Now we get a little banner. I hope you guys are happy. I mean, whatever. Doesn't matter to me. I think it's just ridiculous that people cried that much about it. Moving on to Grandpa Perks Up. Grandpa Perks Unequipping. Did I say that right? Match to match is a fix in testing. Okay, this one was annoying where your perk for Grandpa, you'd set it, and then maybe 2 or 3 matches later, it was gone. You had to put it back up into your perks again, and that was annoying. I was like, wait a minute. I just put that and equipped it. Now it's not there the next match, so I'm glad they're fixing that one. Next up, we got local fuse box saboteur in town. Saboteur perk now accurately affects the fuse box as well as the generator. That was just a perk that wasn't working properly. Glad they're fixing that one. But at the same time, we don't need any perks on that. We got enough cooldown as family members on that damn fuse box. In my opinion, I wish there was no cooldown on it. I mean, by the time you get over there, they're out the exit anyways. I mean, there shouldn't be a cooldown on the fuse box, especially a perk. We don't need a perk, Gun. We don't need a perk on that. It's hard enough as a family member as it is, okay? Moving on over to family exploits the valve. The ability used to instantly exploit the valve closing mechanic is being addressed. Okay, so what they're talking about is, say the valve goes off. The victims go over. I mean, they turn the valve on. That annoying. You hear it, and you're like, "Oh crap!" You're a family member. You run over there, and usually to shut it off as a family member, you hold down the button, and it takes a while to turn that valve handle and shut it off. Well, people learned how to exploit that as a family member, and on PlayStation, I think it was R1. Your ability, you'd hold that down as you're doing it, and it would close it really fast. And it was an exploit to counter the victims exploiting. So in my book, It was fine. I mean, if you're a family member in this game, I'm going to explain you guys. You guys all know that are family members. This game is broken as a family member, and I don't care what you say. I kind of hope Gun's watching this because let's face it, there's so many ways for victims to have the family members running around like a chicken with his head cut off, and there's more escapes than there are deaths in this game, and I feel like it's just broken at this point, especially the valve. So I really hope that there's major fixes in place. We're going to read more. Anyways, so they're fixing that. That's kind of ridiculous because I think there should be major changes to that valve. Anyways, to begin. Let's see. Moving over to Johnny Trail goes cold. Fix and testing for a bug that made the footprints disappear for Johnny almost instantly. Now that's definitely broken. That's not fair to the Johnny player. But I will talk a little bit about Johnny. There's something I don't really care for with Johnny. I don't know if I'm explaining this right or not, or maybe there's a bug, or I don't know. But when I'm victim, it feels like I could jog to the other side of the map, duck and hide in a bush, and I know Johnny's on the other side of the map, and 3 minutes later, I'm not saying I do this, but 3 minutes later, he could come over to that side where I'm at and track my footsteps right to where I'm hiding. Now, to me, that seems a little broken. I feel like the longer you're hiding away from Johnny or get away from him, your footsteps should slowly start fading away so he can't find you. It just feels like he finds me no matter what. I don't know if they should make those footprints disappear a little faster. But this one here they're talking about, it seems like that's broken for the Johnny player, so I'm glad they're fixing that one. Moving on over to 5 out of 7 victims agree. If a full lobby has 5 out of 7 victims readied up, the match timer drops to 30 seconds. Yay, that's a good one. I mean, hopefully. That, in my opinion, is step 2 to fixing the lobby dodging because it'll force the lobbies to go quicker. Instead of people sitting, kids are going to sit there and be like, people are going to be like, ready up. And they're going to be like, nah. I'm just going to say, hey, I'll be back. I'll go to the bathroom and come back in like 2 minutes. No. 5 people readied up. Boom. The rest of you guys that are left over in the lobby, readied up. Boom. We're getting into a match. I'm glad they're fixing that one. That's, step 1 was getting rid of the damn levels. Excuse me. The level. I'm glad they hid the levels for each player so that way we don't know what we're up against because a lot of people were dodging. Not everybody, but a lot of people were in fact dodging because they saw a high level in there. If there was a level 15 player and he saw a level 99, he's like, nope, sorry, I'm out of here. I'm not going to get destroyed by a level 99. Now you go into a lobby, you don't know anyone's level, so it's a guessing game. But no one's going to dodge now because no one knows the levels. So there's no reason to dodge now because of levels. And to me, honestly, you guys, some people are upset about that because they use that in advantage of how they're going to play out the match. I get that, but in a way, now it's an element of surprise. We're going to go into those matches not knowing if we're up against a low level or high level. Or maybe it's a mixture. Maybe one character is a high level and maybe the other character we're chasing is a low level. That's what makes this game fun. You're not knowing what you're up against. But if you see the level, you're going to be like prepared for it. And that isn't always the best thing in a game like this. So anyways, 5 out of 7, the timer drops down to like 30 seconds and bam. I would even say get rid of the 30 seconds. Just ready up the damn match, Screw them. If they're not ready to go, then they shouldn't be playing in the first place. So, moving on over to Trail of Blood. The blood trails left behind by victims will now match the console version on PC as well. So before this was talked about here, a lot of the PC players, if they were running and they're a victim, their blood trails were very, very light and hard to see. But if you had a console player jogging next to him, his blood trail would be bright red and easy to follow. So now they're going to be equal. So I'm glad they worked on that because that's kind of like, that was a broken thing in the game. Moving on over to security pin lockdown. Security pin perk now only affects the cook's locks. Okay, so that's a perk that made it so if you used it, all the locks, not just the cooks, were hard to unlock for victims. So now it's just the cook's 3 locks. Come on, Gun. You're making it harder on the family. I'm telling you guys this. Family needed to be buffed in this. I don't normally talk like that, but now you're killing the family even more. You're taking things away when we need things to be addressed, and we need buffing here. We're the Slaughter family. This is Texas Chainsaw, not like let's let the victims do what they want and kick us in the ass and then troll us and teabag us, okay? And anyways, moving on over to the next one, building up pressure. Turning off the valve will now repressurize the tank. That was a big one there. I'm glad they did that one right there, because when you shut that valve off, especially now that you can't exploit it, it takes a while to shut it off. Say it was down till maybe like the another 3 seconds, and if they did it again, then the gate opened. Now you shut it off, and it resets all the way back to 0. That is definitely going to help, but it's not going to solve the problem, because victims are still going to keep going back there to use that as a distraction, and it's going to be like psh, psh, on off, 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 on off. Yeah. That was a lot. I'm not into playing cat and mouse with a damn pressure valve gun. Come on. I was saying maybe you turn it off as a family member because they turned it on you. You get over there, you shut it off. Okay? Maybe they go back and turn it on again, and if you shut it off the second time, the handle breaks, and now they have to get the remaining handle on the map to start it over again, if they can find it. After they use the last handle, either they get it or they don't. Either they got out or the second one breaks and it's a one and done. Same with the fuse, one and done. If you shut off the fuse box, if they turn it on and the gate opens, either they make it out or they don't. But once you shut that handle off, the fuse that's in there should blow. And now the victims should be forced to go find the second fuse on the map. Why do they have a chance to go over there and turn a handle back on? It should be one and done. Anyways, there's that one. And then we got the Slaughterhouse Renovations. A particularly tricky valve tank will be relocated upstairs for better visibility. Okay, so I believe they're talking about Leatherface's lair, the tank in the lair, way back at the slaughterhouse down in the basement, the one that's hard to get to. They're going to take that one and put it outside. Thank God, because whenever that one went off, I didn't even bother as a family member to go shut it off. It was too. I always felt like by the time I get there, it's going to be too late anyway. So if I ever heard that one going off and I'm up top, I was like, all right, well, let's hope for the best. And I'd go guard the gate, put traps down as the hitchhiker or whatever, try to get anyone I could escaping out the gate. The one down below Grandpa's little shack or further to the left there, I would always go downstairs and try to counter that one and shut it off. But the one they're talking about, I believe, is the one they're putting outside now, so it's going to make it easier to find it and shut it off. So thank God for that one. Smokehouse closed for business. The smokehouse door on the gas station map is being reworked. Now, a lot of people are thinking that they're getting rid of that door. I don't believe that's the case. They're just going to make it harder for the victims to get through there. I don't know what they're talking about, but let's just hope that, let's come up with an idea. I would say if, inside that room, there's two doors. There's the first door, and then there's the door that leads to the outside front of the gas station. I would say there's also a gap between those doors and the wall. I would say close that gap off, get rid of the gap. That's step one. And then let's just make that main door that leads outside just take longer to unlock. Is there any way that, when you're doing the skill check with the lockpick, Make it doubled or tripled or something like that. Or maybe they could put the generator wire hooked up to the front door and electrify it. And so that way you have to unlock it and then go back and kick the shit out of the damn generator. To be honest, you guys, I'm not upset about the gas station that much anymore. The exit, like I was when the game first dropped. I can counter it pretty good now. A lot of victims don't even really try that way anymore when I'm playing anyways, because if I'm Cook or my team, we know how to counter it and set it up so it's a bitch to get out of there. So whatever they do, I just hope they don't get rid of the door, because the door is fine. I just hope they make it a little bit tougher for victims to get through that door. That's all. So anyways, moving on over to Cook ability tuning. Crouch walking will now hide you from the Cook Seek ability, and the duration of outlines due to detection have been fixed. Okay, so that gives the victims, the Cook was a pain in the ass sometimes using his hearing ability over and over and pinging, especially a level 3 perk Cook where he'd highlight you for the rest of the family. I get it. I use Cook all the time. I love doing that, but if I'm victim, I'm like, God damn, come on, Cook, give me a break. So now if you're crouching, you cannot get detected by Cook. I think that's good because you're trying to be stealthy in the first place. So allow a person to be stealthy, and if they want to, because you're crouching down and you're walking crouching, I mean, you're not getting anything done anyways. You're taking too long. So why have the Cook be able to locate you on that? So I'm glad they fixed that one. That's a good one too. You guys see, I'm not just a family man. I'm for both sides here. Then we got Tie It Off. Tourniquet perk is being fixed and will no longer completely remove bleed out effects. I don't know much about that one. Moving on over to Autoc Crouch toggle. Testing out a toggle for the Autoc Crouch so players can choose to turn it off. Okay, so that's a cool one too. I mean, some people didn't want to just be crouch and then have to press the square button or whatever button it is to go back up standing and then crouch again so they can turn it on or off. I get that. That one never really bothered me that much, but I totally get it. Let's see. No Cell versus Chainsaw. No Cell will now move accurately, affect overhead chainsaw attacks from Leatherface. I'm not completely sure what they're talking about with this one. I know what No Cell is, and makes it so you have the ability to get back up and not take that damage to a full standstill. It replenishes boost. It boosts you to the next. You still get messed up, but it gives you a boost. But I'm not sure what they're talking about as far as accurately affect overhead chainsaw. What do you mean by accurately affect it? All I know is sometimes I'm Leatherface and I'm chasing, so let's say Anna, and I slam her with an overhead. She falls down, but then she gets back up and runs away. But that's part of No Cell. Maybe somebody down in the description, in the comments below, can let me know about that one. And that's about it. And they say there's a lot more coming. That's just part of it. Some things under investigation: grappling tuning, perk rebalancing. Party disbanding issues. That's a huge one. That's the one that we all want. Party disbanding. We need a penalty if people do it. Like, let's say you keep doing it 3 times in a row, then you get a strike or a penalty for that. Because the game right now, where it stands, the biggest issue is people loading into the lobbies and just playing the damn game. It's like, how hard is it? If you don't get the character you want, just take whoever's left and play the game. The match is probably only going to last 3 to 5 minutes anyways. Aren't you here to play the game? Like, God, it's so frustrating when people just back out because whatever reason, just play the game. Otherwise, the game's just not going to be playable for anyone. So anyways, that's it for today's video. We have a lot to go over in the future, and there's probably going to be more notes. But this patch, I will have to say that this is going to fix a lot of the game. That answered the question in the beginning of this video. Will it fix the game? I believe that this is going to help balance the family members out tremendously. That valve being reset all the way to the beginning is going to be a pain in the ass now for victims. They're not going to want to keep doing that. They're going to have to go a different route, and that's what's going to balance the valve out a lot more. So thank you, Gun, for that one. There's a lot here going on, so let's take it all in and let's have a discussion in the comments below. Are you guys happy about these? Are there anything that you're not happy about? Let's talk about it down below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, campers, stay out of the woods.
I was inches from the edge, fingers clinging to the ledge again. I never thought I'd